Summertime, and the schedule for lawmakers is not so easy. What's on the busy agenda for Capitol Hill in the months ahead? In today's cover story, inside a discrimination lawsuit at one of the biggest airlines in the U.S. What makes this case so rare to the industry? Plus, we'll talk to the law firm that has slapped Facebook with a lawsuit amid its IPO debacle. And could Men in Black put Sony in the money? We'll get a review of MIB3. Also, a trader will be here to tell us why now more than ever it pays to be picky when choosing stocks. First Business starts right now.
You're watching First Business. Financial news, analysis, and today's investment ideas.
Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, May 31st. I'm Angela Miles. And our first look, the month of May goes away, taking a lot of profits. The major indices are down a collective 6% this month, with one trading day to go. Shares of Lionsgate fell more than 6% after the close on word the film studio expects a fourth quarter loss. However, the company also reports that revenues were up 71%, helped by The Hunger Games. And analysts are expecting only modest growth from the retail sector numbers today. Larry Schober of SFG Alternatives joins us now for his take on the market. Good morning to you. This week is flying by. It's a short week. And of course, we have the jobs number coming out on Friday. But will that offset concerns about the Eurozone, or is that still front and center?
You know, right now it seems like we're in a broken record market, and all everybody cares about is Spain and Greece, and nothing else really matters. But I do need to say that if the jobs number disappoints, or if it does much better than expected, then yeah, of course, the jobs number will help. Other than that, we're in a broken record market, and the narrative is all about Spain and Greece right now.
We're at all-time lows on yields with the 10-year treasuries. Can those go lower?
Oh, absolutely, they could go lower, because right now there's a search for a safe haven, and 1.62% for a 10-year yield, I wouldn't call that a safe haven, but dear me, it's better than anything else right now. So people are looking for a place to go. There's money coming out of Europe, attaching itself to the U.S. Treasury. So yes, it could go much lower.
And people are hoping that oil will continue to go lower, at least people who use it for their gasoline in their cars. What do you think about the situation with oil?
Yeah, well, right now it seems like oil can go lower because the dollar continues to go higher. And also keep in mind that China came out and said that they were not going to initiate any new policy response, no new stimulus. So that put a bearish tone on every commodity, including oil. So I think we're safe for a little bit with oil price.
Good to have you on the show today, Larry Schober of SFG Alternatives.
In our cover story, 24 African-American employees of United Airlines have filed a lawsuit against the carrier, claiming that they were passed over for promotions because of their race. The lawsuit was filed in federal court against United Continental Holdings, the parent company of United Airlines. It claims 22 African-American captains and 2 operations supervisors, also African-American, were denied promotions into management positions because of their race.
I think African-American pilots have had trouble with this, and I think a lot of protected classes in and of themselves have had problems with this based on the industry, because the industry for a long time was dominated by white males.
So we have a new issue. The industry doesn't have much experience with how to select candidates who maybe come from backgrounds that are less traditional.
The employees say they've been passed over for promotions since 2009. But as one plaintiff put it, the struggle for inclusion at United Airlines is a long-standing issue.
The fact that there's 24 employees, 22 pilots and 2 operations supervisors seems to indicate that there's a substantial number of upset or pissed off people, but whether or not it's truly representative of all African American employees at United or all African American United employees who are seeking promotion is really difficult to tell at this point.
Details of the lawsuit have not yet been made public, but one plaintiff says the company's employment policies involved uncontrolled subjective criteria that are applied in an arbitrary manner. Labor attorneys say that could mean an intangible quality, such as leadership. Proving how a race of applicants lack this criteria will likely be vital to the case.
This idea of pilots moving into the management ranks reminds me a bit of how firefighters, in fact, apply for supervisory jobs. And it's very tough to do that.
In a statement, the airline said United does not tolerate harassment or discrimination of any kind. We believe this lawsuit is without merit and will vigorously defend ourselves. Another aspect of this, nearly half of the plaintiffs were part of a 2010 federal equal employment racial discrimination case against United, for which they claim the airline has punished them for their involvement.
A U.S. senator wants airlines to drop extra fees that could break up families on board. According to a recent report, American, United, Delta, Frontier, and Spirit Airlines have all tacked on fees of $25 or more for preferred aisle and window seats. Senator Charles Schumer says unnecessary airline fees shouldn't serve as a literal barrier between mother and child. Airlines are attempting to raise revenue by offsetting higher fuel costs. Airline gate agents contend they are trying to keep families together, including by asking passengers to swap seats.
The travel site Kayak.com is delaying its IPO, shying away this time because of Facebook's disastrous start as a public company. Kayak's roadshow was reportedly supposed to start last week. It would have been the first U.S. tech IPO since Facebook. Morgan Stanley is the lead underwriter for Kayak, but other Morgan Stanley lead IPOs, ServiceNow and Palo Alto Networks, are still on track. Analysts say Kayak may still go ahead with its own in the second quarter. Kayak first filed to go public in November 2010 and put its plans on hold earlier this year because of choppy market conditions.
The political money machine backing GOP presidential candidate Mitt Romney is steering toward $1 billion to win the White House. According to Politico, it involves super PACs linked to the Chamber of Commerce, Karl Rove, who was a former aide to President Bush, and the Koch brothers, who own several consumer and industrial corporations. On top of the $1 billion a super PAC intends to generate, Mitt Romney's camp and the RNC plan to spend another $800 million. Barack Obama raised $750 million in his 2008 run. The president heads to Chicago this weekend for fundraising events.
Another political figure in the election spotlight is bringing in some serious campaign cash. Reportedly, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker has brought in around $20 million since the start of the year. Democratic opponent Tom Barrett has reportedly brought in $3 million. The figures are released on the heels of Wisconsin's recall election, which will be held next Tuesday. The LA Times reports Walker got a head start on fundraising. Reportedly, several contributions totaling $100,000 or more were given to Walker's campaign before Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett was chosen as the contender in the race.
A busy summer session lies ahead for lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Yesterday, President Obama signed off on the reauthorization of the Export-Import Bank. He called it a model of what can be accomplished with the help of Congress. The Export-Import Bank supports thousands of U.S. companies selling products abroad. The president has an ambitious goal of doubling American exports in 5 years.
Our middle class was created by workers who made and sold the best products in the world. Our communities and our economy have always done better when we ship more goods than anybody else, stamped with that phrase, made in America.
Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, the summer agenda for lawmakers includes deciding by July 1st whether to stop interest on student loans from doubling to 6.8%, a farm bill pushing for bio-based crop growth, small business tax relief, and a bill aimed at fair pay for women.
Mark Zuckerberg may be called before the Senate, but most likely it'll be other Facebook execs. The SEC and other federal authorities are looking into whether lead IPO underwriter Morgan Stanley selectively informed clients of a negative assessment of Facebook's prospects just before the social media site's stock offering. One senator says Congress needs to determine whether current laws are adequate. Meanwhile, the CEO of Morgan Stanley says that firm did nothing wrong and blames NASDAQ for the mess. As of Wednesday, Zuckerberg dropped off a noted billionaire index of the 40 richest people in the world. His estimated net worth is still $14.7 billion. Facebook fell to almost $27 per share midweek.
Walmart is making its move on Best Buy customers. Best Buy plans to close 50 big box stores, creating a void that Walmart is happy to fill. So Walmart has taken out full-page newspaper ads in cities where the stores will close, including in Minneapolis, where Best Buy is based. The ad reminds consumers of the selection and low prices at Walmart.
Chrysler will halt production of its Town & Country minivan in 2014. The company will continue making its Dodge Caravan, which will be Chrysler's only minivan in production. The vans are said to have lost appeal with consumers in recent years, while automakers pump out more SUVs and crossover vehicles. The Town & Country could be getting a makeover to keep up changing tastes. Chrysler's CEO told Automobile Magazine that the Town & Country could be reinvented as a crossover vehicle.
It's a full economic calendar. Watch for the Challenger job cuts, ADP employment change, initial unemployment claims, continuing claims, GDP second estimate, Chicago PMI, crude inventories, and on the earnings calendar, it's Sienna, Josa A. Bank, and OmniVision. Still to come, does Men in Black 3 have the potential to send Sony's numbers out of this world? That's later in Movies and Money. But first, the law firm that took on Enron is now taking on Facebook. Find out how they plan to battle the social media site in the courtroom. That's next. Furious is one way to describe people who bought Facebook shares on its IPO day. Perhaps they will find justice in the courtroom. Attorneys at the same law firm that took on Enron are now going after Facebook. Darren Robbins of the law firm Robbins, Geller, Rudman & Dow joined us via Skype this morning. Good to have you on the show. What made you decide to sue?
Good to be here. Well, as you've ascertained, like everyone else, most Facebook investors are very unhappy, and so they have approached us in droves, and we took action early on last week, as you're well aware of now.
What are your top accusations against Facebook?
Well, the accusations center around the offering and the failure to provide material facts to investors. We now know that preferred investors were given access to information that was not provided to retail investors and those not on the inside with the underwriters. And they were not told about the real prospects, but were given sanitized documents which do not disclose all the material facts. And as those facts have now reached the forefront, we've seen the price of Facebook shares tumble by 30 or 40%. And once again, Main Street investors have been left holding the bag.
Have you heard back from Facebook?
We have not.
Is it actually against the law, though, for analysts to not share some information? Do you have much grounds there?
Well, what is against the law provides that investors in connection with the sale of newly issued securities are to be provided material facts in an offering statement that is accurate. In this case, it was not. They were withheld, and then they were funneled to investors who were on the inside with the underwriters. So the answer is yes. For over or almost, I guess, 80 years, there have been a set of laws on the books which have been designed to protect investors in connection with new offerings like the one that Facebook conducted on the 18th of May.
What kind of restitution are you hoping for investors?
Well, unfortunately, the damages in this case measure in the billions of dollars. So investors have been harmed to a magnitude like it's rarely seen. This, as you know, is the largest technology IPO ever, and the damages are probably the largest ever in connection with a technology offering. So there's a lot of work to be done, for sure.
What's the main comment you're hearing from shareholders?
That they're outraged that once again they got left holding the bag, and it shows that there's a very uneven playing field. That is a consistent theme that's reiterated day in and day out from investors all over the world.
Darren Robbins at the law firm Robbins, Geller, Rudman & Dow. Keep us up to date. We are curious. Still ahead, find out why some much-hyped summer movies are switching release dates. That's next in Movies and Money. Men in Black 3 turned out to be a stunner at the box office by topping those mighty Avengers. Eric Childress, Vice President of the Chicago Film Critics Association, is here for Movies and Money, and I'm hearing good comments about MIB.
Are you now?
I am. I hear it's better than 2.
Well, it's definitely better than 2, but it's not a very long trip there. But are the numbers really that great for Men in Black 3? You know, it did $69 million over the 4-day weekend. Not a world beater for a Memorial Day holiday weekend. And you have to consider this movie cost $225 million to make, and that's just what the studio's telling us. So that number could even be lower. And grossing about $200 million worldwide overseas, this movie's going to need about $360 million more just to break even. So this is not great news for Sony.
it sounds like you don't think it deserved to even beat the Avengers.
No, it didn't. It doesn't deserve to beat the Avengers, and
But
you
it
know,
did.
Yeah, I mean, and all the headlines saying the Men in Black 3, like, ooh, it finally beat the Avengers. It's like the Bears beating the Green Bay Packers when they win the Super Bowl. It's not a big deal.
What about Will Smith's star power? How did that play into this?
Well, it probably definitely had a significant effect on the matter, because if you go back and look at his career, 11 of his last 14 movies since Independence Day have grossed over $100 million.
Wow.
So people do go see his movies. And the key word there is gross, because one of those movies on that list is the notorious bomb Wild Wild West.
Oh, you always have to bring that
I have to
one
bring up,
up.
yeah, I have to go negative sometimes.
It's
but
out of my
that's the
head.
kind of list where Men in Black 3 is looking right now.
And how about Sony's record?
Sony's had a pretty good year this year with 21 Jump Street and The Vow and
I
Think
saw
Like-
The
Think Like
Vow.
a Man.
I loved it.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Nobody loved that movie.
I
It's
was
not
okay
good.
with it.
Go see The 5-Year Engagement. It's much better.
Okay.
But
I couldn't see Think Like a Man, by the way. It's very hard to see.
that's a better movie too.
They're taking it out of theaters.
Yeah, well, it's about time. It's had its run.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to go see it. Okay, here's what happened last weekend at the box office. Men in Black 3 coming in at 54, The Avengers at 36 million, Battleship at 11 million, The Dictator 9, Chernobyl Diaries at $7 million. And coming up, some interesting news to report actually about G.I. Joe
Yeah.
and a date swap.
Yeah, this is very kind of unprecedented that you have a movie this close to its release date. It was supposed to open this summer on June 29th, and the weekend right after Battleship, all of a sudden Paramount said we're removing it from the schedule. We're pushing it back to next March 2013, and they said we're going to put this in 3D, so that's going to be why they're doing it. Everyone kind of smelled a rat on that, and now there's all kinds of stories coming out. First, we thought it was kind of fear of the Battleship numbers, kind of a gung-ho action movie, might not be too good to release it that close. Now we're hearing that they're going to be doing reshoots because Channing Tatum is a big star, and they actually killed him off in the beginning of the movie. So now they're going to go back and reshoot some extra stuff with him. I don't know why guys would want to go see Channing Tatum, but that's what they're doing. So this is not good news for Paramount.
And then Ted came in and took the date.
Yeah, Universal came in, and the Teddy Bear movie moved up 2 weeks to grab that June 29th slot.
Eric Childress, Vice President of the Chicago Film Critics Association. Thanks for coming on. Coming up, what a blockbuster move in the VIX means for the market. Chart Talk is next. Matt Kavanaugh, CMZ Trading, joins us now for a closer look at the charts on the Euro and the Volatility Index. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
The VIX made a big move yesterday, moving up about 11%. What is it telling investors?
Well, I think you're seeing a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace. We kind of had a bad week both in Europe and here. We had some unexpected bad home sales on Wednesday. We had a poor consumer confidence number on Tuesday. We've got a lot of numbers coming up Thursday and Friday. We've got GDP and the ADP payroll number on Thursday, and we've got a whole slew of numbers on Friday. So you see there are that concerns. You've got the market selling off, and you've got continued worries over Europe. So there's a whole lot of headwinds here, and you're seeing people get pretty nervous.
Is it a sell signal?
Well, I don't know that that's a sell signal. I think that there's some resistance at the 24.5 number for the VIX. That doesn't really mean too much because we could blow through that. But it's definitely something to watch. These Euro concerns are going to continue. The volatility is going to continue, and you're going to see choppiness in the marketplace.
The Euro is definitely making a move to the downside. How long before we reach parity with the dollar?
Oh, well, I think that's the million-dollar question. What you're seeing is you're seeing people get nervous. They don't really know. There's unknown there. You saw the bond yields in Italy and Spain explode, and confidence in the system is key. When you see things like the U.S. dollar be strong, the precious metals be strong, and the euro go down, people are worried that, hey, I don't want to be left holding the bag. So it's something to watch. I think the unknown is huge, and also just people being confident in the euro or not confident in the euro is a big signal.
Any chance you're seeing lighter volumes right now? I'm hearing a lot of people are sidelining.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are sidelining because they don't know what to do, but you're also seeing the market move a lot in both directions on good news and bad news. So you've got a lot of, I think, professionals probably chasing their tail and people on the sidelines confused as to what to do, which makes a lot of sense. You've got to continue to stick with the fundamentals, try to get good companies that are solid, pay yields, and make good risk-reward decisions.
Sounds like more of a trader's market, and that's what you do. Thanks for being on the show today. That's Matt Kavanaugh, CMZ Trading. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks.
That closes out today's show. Coming up tomorrow, we'll get you ready for Jobs Friday, including Trader Place and the latest on hiring habits of companies both big and small. From all of us at First Business, have a terrific Thursday.